Yeah, very consistent. I give him a early third round grade. Third
Yeah,
round. So I liked him.
yeah. If he wasn't consistent, he'd go later. But because he is consistent, sometimes these players go a bit higher because on their tape they show that level of consistency over a period of games.
Mm-hmm. And the last one I
So
got is Derek Nottie. So let me just really quickly go through this guy. He's been pretty good in college. So his strengths. Let me read you his measurement. He's only like 5. He's only like 6'1", but he's 299 pounds. But his combine numbers were abysmal. It was really bad. His power score was 148, bench press 25. His vertical is only 27, broad 96, 8.153 cone, which is horrendous. And so I'm looking at his strengths. Has good anchor against the run and has been productive in college. Stays low and shoots gap in passing downs. Uses good hands and leverage. Weakness, a tweener who doesn't have the power or size to play one tech or nose tackle or the athleticism to play 3 technique, though he's built like a perfect 3 technique penetrator. Got by in college, but hard to see it translate in the pros. His floor is a backup run defender, hard to see a high ceiling with his lack of power and athleticism. Can grow to be a disruptive 3 tech. If he drops a little weight, becomes more athletic. A third-day development guy. That's what I have him.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like
I
a
think so
mid
as
to
well.
late 5th round guy, like a 5th or 6th round guy.
Yeah, I don't think he goes later than that, but yeah, I agree with most of what you said. I think that obviously his weight and height is most of the issue. I think.
Mm. Yeah, it's just he's built like a perfectly 3 technique guy, but he just doesn't have the athleticism or power to make a difference. He played
Yeah.
nose tackle in college. He was really good at it, but college competition their competition is nowhere close. So
Hey, I'm not being funny. You're not going to be stopping the run against people like Marshawn Lynch.
mm-hmm.
If you've got him running at you,
All right,
he's going to struggle.
I think we got a list now. I graded all these guys, right? So here's our
Yeah.
top 12. We looked at 12 guys. We just couldn't take out 2 to make it a top 10. So our first, we got Vita Vea. We have 2 first-round grades, 4 second-round grades, 2 third-round, a 4th, and 3 fifths. So we got Vita Vea and Deron Payne, first-round guys, right? Vita Vea number 1, Deron Payne number 2. Then we have Taven Bryan,
Yeah.
Harrison Phillips, and Maurice Hurst, and Tim Settle as second-round guys. Taven Bryan and Harrison Phillips early 2, Maurice Hurst late 2, Tim Settle even later 2. Then third round we have R.J. McIntosh and Deshaun Hand early third round guys. B.J. Hill mid 4th round. Nathan Shepard early 5th. Breland Speaks mid 5th, and Derek Nottie late 5th round. So here's our list: Vita Vea, Deron Payne, Taven Bryan, Harrison Phillips, Maurice Hurst, Tim Settle, R.J. McIntosh, Deshaun Hand, B.J. Hill, Nathan Shepard, Breland Speaks, and Derek Nottie. What do you think of that list?
Yeah, I think that pretty much is the order that I would put it. I think obviously Tim Settle and who's the other one? The late round for late second round picks. Tim Settle and who was the other one?
Maurice Hurst.
Yeah. I think them two are closer than we put. I think the list is pretty much spot on. Apart from them two, maybe them two switch.
Okay.
But I
you
think
like
the
Tim
rest of it
Settle
is
better
fine.
than Maurice Hurst?
It's not that I like him better, but it's the fact I think some teams might like him better.
Well, no, we're just Raiders specific. So for the Raiders, we're grading him in the
for the Raiders, I think Maurice Hurst goes above him. But for other teams,
and that's what we
maybe
have
the other way.
I mean, if it was for the Raiders, Vita Vea, probably go first, Deron Payne, then Taven Bryan, or maybe Taven Bryan. Taven Bryan's an upside, but he's so raw. You know what? Deron Payne, I'll take him, then Taven Bryan. I might even take, Maurice Hurst before Harrison Phillips because the need we have in the pass rush. I don't know.
I think that makes sense.
Would you rather take Harrison Phillips over Maurice Hurst over Harrison Phillips?
I prefer Phillips, but for the Raiders, I would take Hurst.
Okay.
Just purely on the basis of what the Raiders need.
Okay.
But in terms of a talent, I think Harrison Phillips could have the potential to be better.
Yeah. Okay, but if they were, say in round 2, they're both there, who do you take?
Hurst.
Okay, then we'll give him
Hurst.
Then we'll give Hurst a better grade. Well, we can't give him a better grade, even though it's need based.
Yeah, I think Hurst.
We'll leave the grade and see.
Yeah, I think Hurst makes sense on many levels.
Okay.
That Harrison Phillips doesn't really make sense for the Raiders. After re-signing Justin Ellis as well, I don't see them going for anyone else like that.
Yeah, but you don't want to also take a third-round pass rusher over a second-round run stopper. You just, you want to put the best players in there.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think? If we're on the board, we got a third-round pass rusher and a second-round run defender. They're both available. You have to take one. Who do you take?
Ooh. What? Both in the same position?
Same position. They're the only two. Say they're the two. You have to pick between those two. Same position. Defensive tackle. One's graded. We're picking number 10 in the second round. We got a run stuffer graded round 2 and a pass rusher graded round 3. What do you take?
Well, Harrison Phillips if it's a run stuffer.
Yeah, and
he could be an elite run stuffer.
And you have you have RJ McIntosh. He's a third round pass rusher.
Yeah, well, that would make sense. But but to be honest with you, I don't think they go back to back defensive line.
No. I mean, I'm saying if they're both available in the second round, who do you take in the second round? The guy who stops the rush?
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, I got you now. I would probably go Harrison Phillips. Just because obviously of the value of the pick.
Yeah, you want the better player.
I wouldn't drop that low for
If it's a little bit like, mid second to a early to mid second guy, then you maybe switch it around, right? But
but I personally believe, don't be shocked if the Raiders go offense at pick 10. Don't be surprised.
Well, honestly, who do you have in offense that you want to take that early?
Well, that's the thing. I'm just saying, there is people there. There's an offensive tackle. There's a guard. Calvin Ridley, I think that's too high for him, but you don't know. We don't know what the Raiders are thinking for the draft. Yes, they've got needs, but we've got so many picks. And obviously there's talks about maybe trading and stuff. So who knows what's going to happen, but I would not be surprised. To be honest with you, I wouldn't. Because I think that some of the offensive talent this year is very good. And don't be surprised if the Raiders trade up either.
Trade up or down?
Yeah, don't be surprised.
Well, I'm going to trade up and get Bradley Chubb?
Yeah, Bradley Chubb or Barkley or someone like that. These players make sense for us. They're going to come in day one. That's what we're looking for.
I don't know if he'll go. I don't know if he'll move up for a running back, to be honest with you.
No, that's the only one that I probably less likely. But don't be surprised if they did move up and took someone like Chubb.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Chubb.
Honestly.
I wouldn't mind Chubb at all. I would move up for Chubb.
Yeah, so would I. But I'm obviously it's just theoretical. We might not, we might. But I just think that in some ways it would make sense to do that. In some capacity it would make sense because you're going to get in a guy opposite Mac on day one who's going to come in and be, a major factor in the defense.
No, I don't mind it at all. I'll do it.
No.
Yeah. Depends on the price.
So would I.
I'm not giving them too much.
Well, it depends on who's willing to trade, what they want, and obviously it depends on the number of the pick. So obviously, the further down you go, the more of the price it's going to be.
Yeah.
But if you can get it reasonable, I would do it. But hey, that's all if buts and maybes. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders traded up and took a guy, because we know that Gruden's got that in him to be ruthless like that. If he wants someone, he goes and gets them. Simple, isn't it? He said when these players come in the building, they didn't leave. It will be the same with the draft. If they want a player, they'll do everything in their power to get them.
Yeah.
It's not like with Jack Del Rio, where it was all a palaver and like the draft was just so shocking.
He's a bum.
Yeah, we've got a guy who wants to succeed.
I wouldn't be surprised if we moved back. You know why? Because there is not much top-end talent. There's I don't know, 6-7 guys, 5-6 guys that's really good that everyone else falls in their own category. You know what I mean? There's a lot of late first, second rounders up there.
Yeah, I get that.
So he can move up, get one of those guys, the best ones in the draft, or move back and get a few guys that contribute, instead of one guy.
But that's what I was going to say. You either move up and get a guy you want, or you move back and then take a couple of guys that are decent. Or the other one is if Fitzpatrick or Derwin James fall to 10, that's another scenario you have to take into account.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to take another safety, though. That is tough.
I'm not sure either. But I personally prefer Derwin James because he's got loads of different traits that can transcend into the NFL. Like the modern day NFL sort of safety.
Yeah, we'll get a better idea when we go over all the positions. So if you're listening, we're gonna do the linebackers next week, right? Actually, we'll drop the linebackers mid this week, just because we missed last week. We want to get back into schedule, right? We got the linebackers. We'll do 10 linebackers. Malik Jefferson from Texas, Jerome Baker, Leighton Vander Esch, Josie Jewell, Micah Kiser, Rashaan Evans, Shaquem Griffin, Tremaine Edmonds, Lorenzo Carter, and Roquan Smith. So that should be fun. I already did Rashaan Evans, so that should be a good group, man.
Yeah, I've got to get to work on them. Yeah, I've got to get to work on them. I've not watched anything yet, but I've seen a few clippings of a couple of them already, like Leighton Vander Esch. But I need to study it better. So that's going to be my task this evening in the UK to go over that.
All right, man. I know you got a date, so I'll let you go. We'll start recording again soon, and we'll get to the linebacker rankings. All right, Raider Nation.
See you later.
Peace out.